have the second game in my On Yer Bike series, and that's BMX Racers. So we're moving from motorbikes to BMXs. And this was an early game by the Darling brothers, who went on to form Codemasters. So let's get it loaded. This seems to be a common occurrence on the Darling brothers' early Mastertronic games, which is they come up with this screen which stops the game loading and gives you an explanation of the game. As you can see, their names are all over it, and you have to press a key to continue, which then gives you the controls, and then you press a key to continue again and it starts to load the game. So if you left that alone to load by itself, then you'd be a bit disappointed when you came back. Anyway, moving on. Here's the box of the game, and it's pretty straightforward picture, sort of two robotic looking BMX Racers on the front, and BMX Racers in a nice sort of futuristic logo. This is a 1984 release, I believe, so it's grid style packaging as expected. And on the back you've got the loading instructions, and it's very basic stuff inside, as these early ones were. So inside we've got the aim of the game, which is basically to race your BMX down a course and avoid hazards, and it's got the instructions. It's also got a scribble on there which I assume is how long it takes the game to load, i.e. what tape counter number that is. That also appears on the front cover there, so I might look to replace the cover on this one if I manage to get hold of another cheap copy. And not surprisingly, when you get inside, we've got the foreign language instructions. So I've had a few games of BMX Racers. It's a very simple game, so this is going to be a very quick run through of the game and very quick review, to be perfectly honest. So I'll start the game up. So you're riding down the track, and basically you just got to get to the end of each set of track and keep moving on. As you can see, the score's going up in the corner of the screen. So joystick moves the BMX for some reason. Even though you're obviously moving forward, the BMX can move backwards, which is quite clever. And when you finish a course, the music changes slightly and you move on to the next one. And it's just a case of navigating your way down the course and not crashing into stuff. Plus points, do like the tune, even though it's very repetitive. And the control of the little BMX is very precise, which you obviously need. Negative points is, this is pretty much it, all you're seeing in front of you. There's 8 courses, they just get progressively more difficult. And it's basically just a memory test and reaction test to see if you can get through each stage. And sometimes you end up going into places that you can't get through like that. So I'll go through it once more, but that's pretty much it. There's no title screen. All you're doing is aiming for a higher score. Let's give it another go. You can drive on the grass like this, no problem, as long as you don't hit things. So there is more than one way to get through each stage, but that's hardly replay value, to be perfectly honest. Is it worth $1.99? Probably just about. What's interesting is this game is actually one of the highest selling games in Mastertronic's history. Across all formats, I think it sold over 300,000 copies, which I imagine wasn't based on reviews, but more based on the fact that it cost £1.99, and BMXs were incredibly popular back in 1984. It's not a bad game, you know, it does offer a challenge. There's just not much depth to it, in fact no depth whatsoever. It's a case of, this is pretty much what you see is what you get. So that's pretty much it for a review. I told you it was going to be quick. Just see how far I can get through the game this time. Oh, about that far. I do want to just try and demonstrate one last thing, so I'm just going to have one more go. you do actually die by hitting the letters at the end of a level, or the start of the next level I should say, which is absolutely pathetic. But that's pretty much it. There's not much else to say. Just about worth $1.99 back in 1984 I imagine, but as the first BMX game from the Darling brothers, well, I think we all know that they did go on to bigger and better things.